Welcome to Cake on Tuesday, where we spotlight the rule breakers, the underdogs who refuse to listen when everyone said it won't work. I'm Elizabeth Bieniek, and for the next 20 minutes, we're diving into another disruptive innovation story that proves sometimes the craziest ideas change everything. Today's guest is Laurie Kenley. After 20 years in cybersecurity, most recently at Microsoft, she was at the top of her game and decided she wanted to figure out what she really wanted to do and be. She resigned, took a year to play and discover, and is now starting her own AI company, Silica Intelligence. This is going to be a fantastic conversation. I am thrilled about this. Laurie, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Okay. This year of play is right up my alley. Obviously, our podcast is called Cake on Tuesday. We like to talk about celebration. So talk to us a little bit about what inspired this year of play and what was some of your greatest discoveries in this year of play.
Oh, yeah. So, I played hard in the corporate world for 20 years. And I spent most of my time in pretty serious stuff, right? Financial crimes, terrorist funding, cybersecurity, all of the things. Yeah, all the stuff. Just those little light cyber. And, it's stressful, but I loved it. And, I was getting ready to go into the new year. And at Microsoft, they do a fiscal year from July to June. And so it was May, and we're coming up on the new year. And it's like, okay, what do I want to accomplish in the next year? And I was like, well, I feel like the next year is going to be the same as last year and the year before. And that's wild because Microsoft moves so fast. Like it's crazy bonkers madness, right? And
Right.
yet I was like, well, and I was like, okay, so I know exactly who I'm going to be if I spend the next fiscal year at Microsoft. And then I was like, but I have no idea who I'll be if I go play for a year. No idea. Like I was so lit up by the idea that I could be somebody completely amazingly different. And like I didn't know. And so, I had to like the two paths, right? One where it's like, okay, well, I know that path. Well, I don't know this one. And so I was like, I talked to my partner about it, and he's like, okay, well, why don't we just go play? And I'm like, oh, heck. Because I thought he'd tell me I was being wild, but no, he was like, let's do it. And so it took me until October 15th of 2024 to
That
to
is
get
my published
everything.
date for Cake on Tuesday, my book.
Oh my
We
gosh.
just celebrated the 1-year anniversary.
Oh, congratulations. Look, the universe was inspiring us at the same time.
Apparently.
Yeah. So I on the October 14th, I did not know if I was going to pull the trigger. And the morning of October 15th, I was like, peace, I'm out.
Wow. Okay. So talk to me about this year of play idea. How did that, though? A lot of people I need to take a break. I need to take time away. They might take a sabbatical. They might say, I just want to do a refresher, or I want to change careers. You expressly wanted to play for a year, and you made that official. You didn't say, I'm going to take a sabbatical from Microsoft. You resigned. So what was it about play? What attracted you to like, I want to do this. I don't want to just, take some time to think about my career. I want to play.
So, as I said, I did pretty heavy stuff for a long time, and working at JP Morgan, some of the largest banks in the world, and helping them, fight crimes because financial crimes are rampant, right? And I did heavy, serious stuff, but it never felt heavy to me, and I loved it. And then when it started to feel heavy to me, I knew that I was done. Like I was just done. And I looked around and I was like, okay, well, I could go into AI because we had just started, AI. Oh, I could go into, data. I have so many contacts in the, information technology world that I could have done anything, and none of them lit me up. So I was like, okay, what I know for a fact is that when I feel a little crispy around the edges, like I'm not burned out face down, but I'm a little crispy. Play is what always brings me back to my joy, my passion, myself. And I was like, I am lit up about nothing right now, which is absolutely not me at all. Like I'm always excited about some random thing, right? And I had nothing to be excited about. So I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna throw myself out. Peace. I'm gonna see myself out. I'm gonna go play for a year, and then I'm gonna see how I feel. And that was really really the genesis of it is I knew that in order to come back to myself and to feel joy and excitement and passion about the next thing, I needed to kick myself out of the pool and go play about it.
So I think you just touched on something really, really important that a lot of people gloss over is that fact you got in touch with yourself. And I was just having a conversation last week with a founder who she was ramping down her company and looking for the next thing. And she took a long time before deciding what to do next. And I asked her, oh, what made you decide on this thing? And it was kind of close to what you were saying of, it was the first thing I just felt excited about. It was the first time in a long time I felt excited. And I think that is so important because we get caught up in what we can do. We're not necessarily aligned with what we want to do or are called to do or our purpose to do. So after this year of play, what has changed? What has changed in you? How you're starting a company. Obviously, you found your thing that you're excited and passionate about. How did that come about?
Yeah. So when I started the year, right? So I resigned, I pieced out. And it's funny because I had a lot of other companies be like, yay, now you can come work for us. And I'm like, jump scare. But I had planned 8 trips. We'd planned 8 trips. We're going to go here. We're going to do this. We're going to blah, 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 blah. And then I was like, wait a minute. I'm just bringing project cybersecurity energy to my play. So we canceled everything and decided that our mantra was going to be play and eat snacks. And we would only do what was fun and we would play and eat snacks and we had no other agenda than that. And so whatever came up for us, we just played and eat snacks. Like my boyfriend was like, hey, babe, do you want to go to Spam Jam in Hawaii? And I was like, I don't know what that is, but I'm in. I bet. Yeah. Spam Jam, I'll have you know.
Yes, please tell.
Shout out to Spam Jam. It is the 7th largest cultural festival in the United States. And they close the Waikiki, the main thoroughfare through Waikiki, and all of the local restaurants come out with a spam dish. And they have a spam, like you can take pictures with this guy in a spam suit. Local musicians. It is massive and crazy. And I had a spam Wellington made by Michael Mina, and it was ridiculous and delicious. And so we just chased our joy for a year, man. Like one time he calls me, it's 4 a.m. He's like, babe, you want to go to Disney? I'm like, yeah. What are we going to do there? He's like, oh, they have them topiaries at Epcot. And I was like, topiaries. Heck yeah. And so just whatever caught our fancy, wherever the snacks were, whatever sounded like fun to do, we just did that. And no plans other than snacks and play. And what that created for me was kind of a true north toward joy. Like, oh, I'm looking for something that's going to be fun and there's going to be snacks there. And so, yeah, that's what happened there is what I have discovered is that the more we attune to joy, the more joy we find, right? The more joy we create, the more joy we experience, the more joy infuses everything that we do. And so it was from that place that I noticed that so ticking back to Microsoft, I was one of their AI champions that was helping Microsoft adopt its own AI tools. So Copilot, yes, but also everything inside of Microsoft is AI powered. They just plop it into everything. But it's a lot of tech people doing it, not necessarily the business. And so I was customer facing. And so I would give feedback and be like, yeah, buddy, love this. Love you, mean it. And we needed to do this, this, and this. Right. So can you change it? And they're like, but we think it should do this. And I'm like, I love that for you, but it needs to do that. And so I got in the real habit of understanding how to use it, what it's for, what it's not for. And I was using it in my own life. And I was like, wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute. I could be doing this for everyone. And I was so excited about that I was like, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. And so that was really like honing that joy radar led me to the thing that I want to do next.
All right. Okay, so let's talk about the thing that you want to do next. AI is obviously the buzz of the moment. Everyone's talking AI, but you're coming from this space and now you're founding a company in this space. Talk to us about what lit you up about this and what your company does.
Yeah. So Silica Intelligence, I call it human first intelligence. And I say this because I feel like there's a lot of weird there's a lot of weirdness going on about AI right now, right? Like, and it isn't, it's not Terminators. It's not replacing people. But what I think is happening in the marketplace is that it's very similar to, back in the day when they thought they were going to save all this money by outsourcing everything, right? Like, oh, we'll just outsource this stuff. And, you kind of get what you get when you hand it over to somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. And these AI tools are it's bleeding edge, right? We're not even in an innovate state, right? But what I find is a lot of these executives, they paid a lot of money for something that doesn't really do much. And they realize that it is a brand new modality for their team to adopt. So change management is failing. And like, it's actually the adoption of AI is not going well. And so I think we're seeing a lot of these companies laying people off because these tech executives that have spent millions of dollars have to go back to the board and say, yeah, we got these efficiencies. We saved 200 million hours. Doing what, Bob? What does it do? It saved 200 million hours and I was able to cut 20% of my staff. And it's like, oh. And I think that's where we're at right now. That said, using it for what it is good for is incredible. And that is a thing that I discovered at Microsoft, which is people are creators. Humans have created every single thing in the history of the world. And that isn't changing anytime soon because there's a profound difference between creation and generation. However, these things can help us create faster. They can get us from a first draft from zero, right? So if zero is I have an idea and 5 on a journey of 0 to 10, 5 is a first draft, it can get us from 0 to 5 faster than if we had to do it all on our own. And once you have that first draft, then you can iterate upon it. We can't edit something that doesn't exist, right? And I noticed that I was just getting like, have an idea, boom, it's there so fast. And so acceleration of creation is what I'm using AI for. And I teach some classes on this. I'm still like working about exactly how it works when I work with other people. But what I discovered is that I'm using it to accelerate my own journey toward wellness, toward, I guess, my higher self is what I would call it. And so I wanted to put that at scale and I wanted to share that with the world. And so all of my products, I'm going to be more product based than service based and working with consumers because I just cannot. I tried to do a little bit of consulting with corporations for a hot minute and I wanted to die. So, yeah.
So that's a big switch. You're going from the business world to a consumer model and you're doing your own thing now. And you said some of this was inspired by your year of play. Can you talk a little bit about some of your favorite ways to use AI personally and what may have led to this exploration?
So I love so I'm a system engineer, right? My background is system engineering, creating systems, system architecture. Basically, it's kind of like Tony Stark with Jarvis. I see a system and then I pluck the things out of it and bring it into the real world. And so I do that so fast with AI and it's about anything I want. So just to give a completely random example, I got my colors done. The house of color. Are you a summer? Are you a winter? Are you an autumn? Right?
Oh, winter.
And what are you?
A winter.
Yes, me too. I noticed you've got the color. There you go. So
I just lost half my male audience here on there. Like,
no. We're coming back. We're going to come back to it, guys. Stay with me. Stay with me. It is actually a really complicated system if you think about it, right? It has all of the colors. You want these colors. These are your primary colors, right? You're better than black or whatever. So these are your primary colors. And you want to mix and match them in specific ways. You have, your 7 points of interest or whatever from a jewelry perspective, right? So what I did is I said, make me a framework that I scanned everything, all my results in to Claude. I use Claude explicitly, and I'll tell you why later. But I scanned all this stuff in and said, make me a formula for shopping so that I have a list of everything that's going to comply with this system. And let's optimize it for being on stage, on camera, and in brand photography. So I took the two systems of, you know, camera ready, what looks good on stage, if I'm going to, be speaking, and my best colors, and put them all together. And it helped me create a shopping list, not just how to buy things, but then it can go out to the web and find the things to buy.
Ooh,
Yes.
okay.
And it also helped me create the colors for my website so that all of my brand photography will be popping on my website, right? So when my website colors, you see my brand photography, you see my speaker reels, you see all of these pieces, it all ticks and ties. So I have three systems all into one so that it's all cohesive and coherent. And what that means, right? Coming back, male audience, come right back, come right back. What that means is I don't have to pay somebody to be a brand consultant to help me do that. So I not like it. There's so many wins here, right? Like, yes, I get to look great all the time. Love it. Yes, I always know I have a camera ready wardrobe all the time. And my website is always going to be like popping because I have all the colors done and I didn't have to pay anybody for that. So if you tried to buy that from somebody, you would have to have a stylist. And I actually got quotes on this because I was really curious. So I got quotes. I would need a stylist. I would need a brand consultant to help me get all that to tick and tie, and then a web designer, right? But instead, I have my trusty little robot to do these things for me. And because I have agents that now know how to do this, I can repeat this all of the time. So when I needed to go shopping for fall, I just asked it what to buy. And now I have a list of these things. I just went and bought it. I don't care. And I have all my measurements, right? So it knows what to buy, gives me the link, and I click it. And now I have a full camera ready wardrobe that will do all of these things. And that is the true power of AI right now, is that it can see these systems, anything you can imagine, anything you want to create, anything that you need, and you can articulate it. You can say, man, I really want to be able to do this. Just put it in there and it'll help you get it done. And that is what I'm really up to, because it's really hard. The place that is difficult for people is knowing how to use it, what's it for, right? But then also my system design background allows me to create these agents that can just do it over and over again, no matter how many times I need it. And I know that was a long explanation. Sorry.
No, so you said a couple things in there that I actually would love to dig into, and they're in different directions. So I'll start with one and see if we make it back to the other. You hit on an important point there about if you can articulate it. And I think that is very key. And I think a lot of the hype cycle of AI was from garbage in, garbage out. And so this aligns with a lot of, I just had Ariana Smetana on my podcast, and she's been in the AI space well before it was fashionable. And one of the things that she was talking about is AI is really helping to accelerate kind of what you're talking about, that human input, that human creation. But you made that really smart distinction of you have to be able to articulate. The tool is only as good as the programmer you can give the tool. So when we're talking about that, are there some pointers or tips you can perhaps give to the audience about when you are trying to articulate what is in your head, a vision that you have? How do you explain that in a way that AI can translate that for you?
So glad you asked.
So we didn't talk about this beforehand, folks. So it wasn't a softball question.
Yeah. So I am a verbal processor. I am the greatest extrovert that ever lived. When I did the Myers-Briggs assessment, like I was working at JP Morgan and they brought somebody in to do the Myers-Briggs assessment. And, I'm an ENTP, right? And the lady goes, wow, you're the hardest E I've ever seen. I'm like, thank you. She goes, that's not a compliment. It's not a compliment. And I'm like, thanks.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah, right? Lady. But anyway, I'm a verbal processor, and my process in the past when I did system design, and it's funny, when I worked at JP Morgan, I did a lot of system design. And they were all global systems, 17 countries, things like that, right? And so I would put on my headphones and I would walk up and down the atrium of our big ass building, and until my thoughts could be cohesive enough to come out onto the page. But now I have a little transcription robot called Plod. And I'm not I'm not sponsored, but Plod is a little guy, and I wish I'd brought him with me. He's in the other room. Put him on my thing, and I walk and I talk. I don't have to make one bit of sense. I can just be like, all right, so what I really want to do is like, okay, well, but like, and then I can stream of consciousness, blah, 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 blah. And then I'll get to the point somewhere. And I am so squirrely ADHD that I might have 30 different points that I get to in there. And it's fine because what Plod will do, it is AI powered transcription. So it will do the transcription, and then it will give you a summary, and it organizes your ideas as if you said something really freaking smart and structured. And so then what I do is I have an agent that I run in Claude. So Plod to Claude, it's my brainstorm pipeline. So I take these two things, and I've written an agent that will take the transcript, which will preserve my voice and the way that I speak about things, and then the summary, which preserves the ideas and shapes them into frameworks, and then take all of the things that I wanted out of there and take those two things and create them into the system that I can then play with. So that takes me from 0, I had the idea, to 5, I got it out into the world in, I don't know, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 35 minutes of blah, blah, blah. And then I have a first draft of the system that I was envisioning, and then we work on that.
Okay. That front end process gets a lot faster. I like that. Okay. Tell us a little bit. You mentioned before that you only use Claude. You really like Claude. I would like you to say a little bit about what you love about Claude, and keep in mind, not all of the audience is tech. So maybe a quick little explanation of what Claude is and then why you love it.
So there are the multiple conversational AIs, right? You've got Copilot, Gemini, Grok, Claude, all the things, right? The reason I like Claude is because it is made for developers. And even if you're not a tech person, it doesn't matter. The point is, ChatGPT is made for everybody, which means it's made for nobody, right? It's just trying to get as many people in there as they can. And so it changes all the time because OpenAI is always innovating. And so if you remember, if you've used AI, the ChatGPT 4 to ChatGPT 5 just rocked everyone's world because it was so different. It's like Bob left on Friday and Sam came in on Monday and sat in Bob's desk and pretended that he was Bob. And you're like, hey, I don't know you, buddy. Right? And it's wild. And like the whole internet was like, what do I do? You will never find that with Claude because Claude is made for people to build technology upon. So Claude will get better. It will optimize. It will get more powerful. It will get more abilities and skills. It will never become a different person because that would wreck everybody's stuff that gets built. And so for the average bear, even if you're not a technology person, what you can count on from Claude is that it will always be the robot that you expect it to be, and you'll never have that big, crazy identity crisis with Claude. And that's why I love it.
Yeah. Oh, we could go on and on, Laurie, but I'm being mindful of time here. I want to ask 2 more questions. One, as you are now moving into this founder journey and starting your new thing, which you're wildly excited about, and I love that, but you're coming off of a year of play. How are you going to bring play into work going forward?
Oh man, that is the thing. Like, it's so funny because people are like, well, I guess you're done playing now and you're going to be serious business. And I was like, wrong. What I'm able to create, I built mobile agents so that I can work anywhere. So for example, last week I was at a family vacation at Orlando, Florida, doing the Halloween events at Universal and Disney. And so in the morning, I would get up and I would have my breakfast, and then I would blah, blah, blah to my Plod and then put it into the agent. And I find play incredibly generative. Like I will see things and they just click into place. I've had some of my best ideas on the Stardust Racer Epic, which is like a big roller coaster. So I I'm able to do 20 minutes of brainstorming and then let the agents run in the background. And then when I come back from the park in the night, I'm like, oh, hey, that's nice. Or, I queue it up, let it run, come back to it. And so I did a full week's worth of work, which is a lot of work at the speed that I go, while I was playing.
Love that. That's awesome. Okay, last question. Where can people find you? Where can they learn more? They want to follow you, your journey. They want to learn more about Silica Intelligence. Where can they go?
So I would say follow me on LinkedIn, Laurie Kenley. I'm the only one. Silica Intelligence, www.silicaintelligence.com is there, but there isn't a whole lot there yet. So if you want to keep up with me, if you want to follow me on LinkedIn. And that is my primary place of business right now as I build and share what I'm up to.
Super fun posts. I like to leave them to. They always remind me, okay, am I enjoying this day? Am I having fun? Am I making celebration a priority for this week? So that's awesome. Thank you, Laurie, so much for being here. Laurie Kenley, everybody. Follow her on LinkedIn for more about fun.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining another Cake on Tuesday celebration of beautiful disruption. Please share it, review it, and find more innovative stories at podcast.cakeontuesday.com. I'm Elizabeth Bienyik. Be bold, stay curious. Now go have some cake.